What is up, everybody? It's your boy Phil Shocker, the Nice Joke here with another draft analysis here for you guys. But don't worry, after G8DL, this can kind of replace that one, and then we have, I think, one other one that's kind of close to that, maybe VBL, and then two other leagues are going to replace that. One of them will be this one, but this one's only got about another besides the games I have to play, about 5 more weeks, so about half of a season recorded, but this is a pretty awesome team that we got, and I am so excited for you guys to see it. I don't know how I walked away with such a powerhouse of a team, but it is what it is. But guys are excited for another draft analysis. Leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. And join the Phil Shocker crew today because you guys be thrilling with the king of the crew. So with that being said, let's break down this draft analysis. So this was another points-based lag where you had a draft. I believe it was 9 to 10 or it was 10 to 12. One of those type of ranger Pokemon. You get 120 points. And I'm sorry also if I yawn. That's just, the theme with me, guys. I just gotta yawn. But, so, I took over a team, and the original team had the first 6 picks, and then they had 4 picks being Mudsdale, Glaceon, Galacorsa, and Exploud. I decided to keep the main 6, and I know there's a little bit of a problem with them. One problem with having that main 6 is that there's a duplicate weakness, but again, I can pretty much patch up that duplicate weakness easily, real easily. So, we're going to go over the team that was original, plus then we're going to go over the mods, and it's pretty funny how ironic that it is perfectly petitioned like this. But let's go over the first pick here. So the first pick was one of the only two 20-point mods in the league. That is Megaladios. Megaladios, I think, was believed banned, but Megaladios was not. And what I was thinking to myself, you know what? I may never get to use Megaladios because it's become now ban worthy in most leagues. So you know what I said? I said, let's go ahead and just use it. Let's just try it, see how much fun this could be. This is a really just destructive wall breaker. This thing's a fantastic special offensive. It can play physical. It can play mixed. It's got great speed. It has amazing bulk. This Pokemon is like near impossible to kill. Base 110 speed set. This also just give us something that's incredibly fast. And I really, excuse me, guys. I think it's a really amazing pick right here. I think this gives us that one great mon right out of the gate that can play physical, play special, and I just generally think this is going to be a fantastic Pokemon for us to use this season. With the next pick, with I think a steal in 16 points, we got Zeraora. Now, Zeraora, in my opinion, is 100% worthy. And the fact you got it round 2 in this couple draft format as well is pretty interesting, to say the least. But I love Zeraora. I've been wanting to get back to using Zeraora. I know I kind of showed off the Saga Lead. By the way, the Saga Lead's dead. We're not going back to that. But I wanted Zeraora again. I haven't used Zeraora a lot, and I want to try it. After, especially I did a tournament, Wi-Fi tournament. Zeraora would go to work on the one game. Didn't get to do much the second game, which was the finals game. But it was one of that mons I loved using so much, and it's something I love to use. And again, it played another mon that can play physical, play special. It's a little more on the physical side by just 10 base points of it, but again, it can just play mixed. That speed tier as well, 143. That was just perfect icing on the cake to get right there. Now, obviously, it would have been smarter for me to get something potentially that maybe had a speed tier in between these two, like something like, maybe Cinderace, maybe things like Sceptile, and stuff like that, but I didn't get the chance to do so. Excuse me. So that gap is pretty big. I 100% admit to that, but ultimately, I didn't care. Zeraora was just so good to pass up. But with the third pick, we got this 18 points, which I think was a little bit of an overprice for Celesteela, in my opinion. It should have been maybe a debate between maybe 17 or 16, I would say. But Celesteela, as we've known, can be just annoying. It's a really bulky defensive mon, and also a very offensive mon. Meteor Beam sets have been becoming a lot of common on Celesteela, but there's also the common, just an annoying, bulky sets that Celesteela has. And ultimately, Celesteela is so fun to use. Celesteela is really one of those Pokemon that allows potential good setup variations to go through and just lets you kind of just do whatever you really want with it. I think ultimately Celesteela is one of those mons that can reliably run Autotomize almost every single week. It's one of those mons, well, they can take a good advantage of weakness policy in the right matchups, if built also correctly as well. I just generally think Celesteela is super, super good. I know I have it in Sunset. I know I have made this habit of not using Mons in the same league, but I haven't really used Celesteela a lot, and I feel like if I play more with Celesteela, I will have that comfort level, and maybe I'll discover something with this league that can also help me with Sunset. So, with the next pick, with I believe this was 13 points potentially, if I remember correctly, we have Zuko the Infernape, and it has been a very long time since I've used Infernape. Last time I believe I had Infernape was when I had my Sand team in TBC, but I don't talk about TBC because it's a on league and I don't care about it anymore. Whatever Infernape is, it's great. Dual priority is amazing on this thing. Mach Punch, Vacuum Wave, to be able to run physical, special. It's super, super good. And it's also got a decently good ability in Iron Fist, which helps things with things like Drain Punch, Earth, the only fist moves, right? Punch based attacks, yeah. So like things like Drain Punch. Oh, it doesn't even get access to Drain Punch. Oh, but yeah, so like something like the Elemental Punches. Oh, it doesn't even get Ice Punch. Okay, never mind. That makes no sense, but Iron Fist, yeah, well, it's kind of. I guess close combat, I think, can get a little bit. I don't know, but just basically, punch element like power up punch can give it that little bit of boost as well. But ultimately, what I love about Infernape, it gives me a rocker, which is really good. By the way, I didn't mention this with Latios. It also gives me a defogger at the gate as well. So we have a rocker. We have really good options. Bulk up sets are really teasingly cool. Calm mind sets. There's also chances to run even defensive Infernape if you really want to with Slack Off or Slack Off Life Orb, any type of trying to keep it healthy with 3 attacks. I just generally think Infernape is such a really good pick, and I'm really excited to use it. And plus, if you look at our 3 picks, we do develop a bit of a ground weakness, but with having Celesteela and Jet, we don't really matter about that right now. But next I picked up, I have Primarina here, which I believe was 11 points. And again, same story, but GADL is basically dead. Well, not dead, but basically over. But I went with Primarina because I love Primarina. The thing, Primarina gives me a bit of a Spadef wall, which is really good. It just also gave me a Mon that could just smack something up with choice specs. And what I felt was really, really cool about this team is this team now has kind of dedicated special and has 2 mixed attackers essentially, or can play this. One that can be kind of being more physical, one that can be more special, and now I'm picking up another special wall breaker. I think this Mon is so underrated. I think a lot of times people do not respect the power that is Primarina, and I'm hoping to show people why you do not sleep on this Pokemon, because this Pokemon is a massive threat, and I think a lot of people are going to have to really understand that. With the last Mon we kept on the team, I believe this was for either 10, maybe 9, or 11 points. I can't really remember off the top of my head. We got Mandibuzz, and you guys know I love Mandibuzz. It has been forever since I've used Mandibuzz. I think the last time I used Mandibuzz was also on TBC. I think. I could be wrong about that. But Mandibuzz, oh my god, I love this thing so much. It's so much fun to use. It's a mon that can just play defensive roles perfectly. It does have a little bit of a form of Lumsat syndrome because it wants to have Defog, it wants to have Roost, it wants to have Toxic, it wants to have things like U-Turn or Knockoff and stuff like that. There's definitely a bit of a stretch on what you can do. It's a fantastic heavy Pizza user. It's got some low-key tech with things like Bone Rush. Or was it? Is it Bone Rush? Is that what I'm thinking of? Yeah, Bone Rush, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, the fact that there's also some special sets that we can dig into and look like Nasty Plot, Weak Armor, just with Weakness Policy, like Iron Defense, is just super good. I really love this Pokemon, and I'm really excited to try it out again. It's been so long, and it's time for my boy, well, baby girl, my bad, to come home. So now let's get into the new team members. So replacing Mudsdale, I drafted Donphan. Now, I drafted Donphan for the fact that Donphan gave me a spinner, and plus, I have never used Donphan in like a league for almost, I would say, about a year. It's just because there's been certain other ground types that just pique my interest more than Donphan, but I have been meaning to try to get back to Donphan for the longest time. But what's really great about Donphan picks me up a second Stealth Rocker, which is really good, and now besides Latios and Mandibuzz, I have a Rapid Spinner now, which is really good. Now, you can kind of run heavy duty boots on this thing if you want to keep sturdy intact, which I feel like is a wasted item in my opinion, but if some people like that, they can. But just give me a physical defensive wall. It also give me another really great physical offensive threat as well, because Donphan, if built correctly, can be a massive physical offensive wall. It's actually a decent good user of Rock Polish, believe it or not. And I genuinely think Donphan's gonna be really good. Gives me good prior with Rapid Spin as well. We got Rapid Spin. Ice Shard, Rabbit's been giving that potential speed boost as well. You get outspeed defensive walls with just no speed investment, which is really good as well. And just generally speaking, the coverage on Donphan is insane. Like, this thing gets access to, obviously, Earthquake, but it gets access to Fire Fang, Gunk Shot, Gyro Ball, Head Smash. It gets access to utility items like Knockoff, it gets access to Play Rough, Poison Jab. How does it learn Poison Jab? It's access to things like Seed Bomb, which I don't even understand. This thing is so annoying. It's also got Toxic for any support there, just to be annoying. It just has so much decently good coverage on a team that it. Wait, this thing learns Thunder Fang. In what world doesn't a ground type learn an electric type move? I know what you're thinking, but Sunfisk is electric ground, so I don't want to hear that. But I felt like Donphan was just a really good pick for this team, so I was with that. Up next, I went with Bouquet in my Roserade, which we're using is not shiny. It's supposed to be shiny. But we have Roserade here, and I know we've been using Roserade now in Sunset. We just finished using RGBL, but I felt like I wanted to ground a Poison type. I want to get a thing to check as another potential check to check ground types because I have Latios, I have Mandibuzz, I do have Celesteela. I know this is not a guaranteed switch into ground types, but it's one that pressures ground types. That base 90 Steve Spat is also relatively good for the little bit underneath going Infernape. So again, we're covering kind of over the speed tiers a little bit here as well. But what I really love about Roserade is, again, the hazard support. It has so much with it. The Weather Ball sets, which can be really good if we position that correctly, actually. And I just generally felt like having also another relatively decently good special wall that paired with Donphan was really, really good. Yes, the team is now kind of looking a bit ice weak, but again, we do have a fighting type, but it's also our fire type. We have a steel type that is, even though it's neutral, can handle that. And we have a water type which can just soak them all up. But ultimately, I think the Roserade also having Sleep Powder fits this team really well too, because it gives me a Sleep Powder status user, and I also, again, another status absorb for this team where I can take the Thunder Waves, I can take the burns, and everything like that, and just be able to just neutralize any way, just trying to slow my team down or cripple my team. And also, I believe it gets a Room of Therapy. Yes, it does. So it's an optional cleric user as well, which I think is really good. With my last two picks, I only had like 6 points left, and I decided let's try something a little different. I get myself a mixed defensive wall in Dusclops. Now, Dusclops, I'm not gonna lie, I've never used before, so this is gonna be new to me. But I felt like Dusclops was kind of a good low, and I gotta say this: to get it for 3 points, I think was slightly a steal. The reason why I say it was slightly a steal was just because I felt like I wouldn't say it's 5 point worthy, but I think it's honestly 4 point worthy along with Dusknoir. Just because again, Frisk is a really good ability. They're just really good offensively, but most likely Dusclops is there to be the annoying defensive mon, rather Dusknoir is the more annoying offensive mon. But what Dusclops is really good here is just to be annoying, like I said. It gets access to some of the good moves in the game, like it gets access to things like Destiny Bond to just trap things. It gets access to things like Trick Room, which some things on my team, if we look back here, like Trick Room Celesteela is pretty good, Trick Room Mandibuzz, arguably Trick Room Primarina, and even Trick Room Donphan, and Trick Room with my own Mon Dusclops here, Cyclops, by the way, was his nickname. I just felt like it was also, it gave me a Frisk user, which was so good on this team. Because Frisk is really, really good in the sense that, again, if I can know that item right at the gate, I can kind of predict exactly what set it is, and if it's going to be a physically offensive, defensive, especially offensive, speedy, or something like that on the Mon, and just be so much good knowledge. Again, counter Trick Rooming cannot really work that well with my team, but I do have pieces of the puzzle that can work with the team. But ultimately, I felt like Dusclops just giving me another Mon that was just a really good mixed defensive wall was, I think, the perfect fit. It's also spreading Will-O-Wisp, Toxics, and everything like that, I felt was super, super good. And with our last pick, I grabbed my kitty cat, Callie, my fat cat. She's a little bit of a fatty, but I love her. Now, this you can argue and say is a really weird pick to grab. And to your accusations of that weird pick, I don't blame you. Because it doesn't have really a ton of good coverage. Like, it's got its decent coverage, yeah, but it doesn't have, like, the biggest coverage. But what I think I like about Purloin is, for one, I want to try it. Plus, I felt like getting a normal type was really good to stop the potential ghost spamming on my team, besides having Mandibuzz be my only ghost check in that situation. But also, I just look at this. It gave me a nice ice and fire resist, which is really good with the Thick Fat. Own Tempo, which means I cannot be confused. So if I go for anything moves, I can confuse myself. I can't be confused. Also, the option to potentially be immune to Intimidate is really, really good. But now looking at it, the big key right here is Defiant. So it's going to really pressure those Intimidate users to be careful, because if I'm Scarfed or Banded and I get a +1 off a Defiant, my god, I'm going to be smacking something around. This is also a really good mon to somewhat counter potential sticky web teams as well, because if they don't know Pearl Ugly can get Defiant, Pearl Ugly can kind of just go in against going against teams with banded normal type moves, or just coverage based moves with Life Orb and stuff. But I'm generally excited to try Pearl Ugly. I've never used this thing before at all. I think of all the mons on this team, I have never really used Megaladios at all, and I haven't really used Dusclops and Pearl Ugly at all. But yeah, but that's gonna be the team, guys. You leave a like if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new. Let me know your comments down below on the team. I think we actually walked away with a pretty good, powerful team now after those four transactions we made there. Again, the team's not too perfect. I think we should have probably picked up a different, separate poison type and a really bulky grass type. But again, I don't think it would have helped too much in the the weaknesses that were going there. But I'm really excited for this team. I'm really hoping we can make playoffs. We're currently 1-3, -6. We are going to be playing our makeup week 4 game with that team builder, and potentially we'll hold up Goalie first. Then we have to play our week 6 game. Then we have to play our week 7 game. If we lose those 3 games, we're definitely going to be out of playoffs. But if we win all 3, that's going to put us right back on that map, which is going to be really good at putting in a 4-3 record. If we can win at least probably 2 of those 3 games, that can kind of still keep us in the hunt for playoffs, but we'll have to keep working on it. And if we only win 1 of those games, we would probably have to win out for the rest of the season. But again, I'm not kind of stressing about making playoffs. I'm going to make sure I play and stuff. But again, when I took over a team, especially if it's roughly middle of the season, I still try, but if there's a chance I don't make playoffs at all, or if there's a chance where, I struggle to make the playoffs and everything like that, then I'm just going to, for the rest of the season, just have some fun with it and just try to, not exactly mean, but try to bring some creativeness to this. But yeah, I'm rambling for too long. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.